Good morning, everybody. We're going to be ready to start this ceremony in about 30 seconds. So if you'll all take your seats, and you're all here. This is a miracle, considering all the roads and how tough they were. We were not sure we were going to get here in time even. We're usually here by 9, so we're just happy to be here. And look at this tiny one. We haven't had a tiny person at this ceremony ever. So what a celebration this is to have a 6-month-old baby with us. Okie doke. So I think we're ready, and we just want to thank you all for coming here. This is really an exciting day, the day after Statehood Day, which was yesterday. But because the Capitol was closed, we moved it to one day later. Okay. So, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 33rd Annual Montana Statehood Centennial Bell Awards Ceremony, honoring the Montana History Teacher of the Year. I am Norma Ashby. I am of Great Falls, and I'm the award coordinator and your mistress of ceremonies. So again, I say I'm happy to have you here today. Thanks for making the journey. I'd like to acknowledge our sponsor, the 9 Montana Television Network stations, the Montana History Foundation, and the Sons and Daughters of Montana Pioneers for their cooperation with this project, along with the 1889 Coffee House here in Helena and the Montana Historical Society. So let's give a big hand to all of our sponsors. A little bit of background. It was on November 8th, 1989 at 10:40 a.m. that tens of thousands of Montanans were united for one magical minute to declare Montana's 100th birthday. So they rang bells across the whole state of Montana. We'll be ringing one bell in a while this morning. To perpetuate the awareness of our state's birthday, the Montana Statehood Centennial Bell Award was established in 1990. The award honors the Montana History Teacher of the Year. On even-numbered years, a Montana history teacher at the 7th, 12th grade level is honored, and on uneven years, a Montana history teacher at the 4th to 7th grade level is 6th grade level is honored. Our winner this year is Eric Chaon, World History and Montana History teacher at Great Falls High School. We've never had a teacher at that level honored from Great Falls before, so this is a very big deal for Eric Chaon. He's been at school from 2013 to the present time. He is the current social studies department head at the school. Prior to teaching at Great Falls High School, he taught middle school and high school social studies in Augusta, Montana. So from one of the smallest schools in the state to one of the largest, he's experienced it all. And he was there in Augusta from 2011 to 2013. Eric was born and raised in Great Falls, graduated from Great Falls High in 2006, and in 2016 he graduated from Montana State University in Bozeman with a Bachelor of Science degree in secondary education and then a Master of Education degree in curriculum and instruction. He's married to Haley Chaon, and they have 2 children, a little daughter whose name is Lola, and she is 2, and a baby, little Bryson, who is 6 months. How about that? His parents are also from Great Falls, and his sister-in-law and her husband are here from, is it Bozeman? Is that correct?
Yeah, they're en route.
They're en route. Okay, we will applaud them when they come in.
Yes.
And his in-laws are here. Thank you for coming as well. And they have traveled all the way from Billings. And then he has some wonderful other folks here from Great Falls, and we'll be introducing them in a little while. But will Eric's family please be recognized? Let's give them a big hand. Okay, and I want to tell you a little bit more about Eric. He enjoys, listen to this, camping, fishing, skiing, sports events, and spending time with family across Montana. In his approach to teaching Montana history, Eric said his course includes robust discussions of the ethnic and racial diversity integral to Montana's past, present, and future. His students cover the contributions, controversies, plight, and success of original Native American inhabitants through early American explorers and trappers, Asian gold miners, Irish and Eastern European mine and smelter workers, and noteworthy African American across various periods. Native Americans represent the largest minority population in Montana and at Great Falls High School. His students spend a significant amount of time studying every reservation and tribe, and I can't wait to take your course. Eric has graciously invited my husband and me to attend one of his classes, so we may not have to take the tests, but we'd love to watch you teach, and we heard you're very good. Okay, so prizes Eric will receive today include a $4,500 from our sponsors for class materials, field trips, guest speakers, and anything else that will enhance his teaching of Montana history. And he'll also receive a beautiful plaque and books about Montana pioneers. So it's now my pleasure to introduce our first speaker today, and she is our Lieutenant Governor, Kristen Juras, who has ranching roots in Conrad, but who has made her home in Great Falls for a number of years. And when she learned about our winner being from Great Falls, she was happy to make room in her busy schedule to come forward and say a few words on behalf of Eric. So a nice hand for our Lieutenant Governor, Kristen Juras.
Well, thank you, Norma, and congratulations, Eric. Yes, we've made our home in Great Falls for 35 years now. My boys went to that other school, but it is truly an honor that somebody from Great Falls has received this award. So I just want to make two comments. History is so important. Montana has such a rich history, such a diverse history, and I just encourage all of you who are visiting the Capitol to walk around a little bit, and you'll just see everywhere the paintings of our Native Americans, of our cowboys, our trappers and women, and everybody that made history so great in Montana. And what a blessing to be in Great Falls, where the Portage Route is. I'm sure hope you're taking your students to some of those campsites, and so much of Montana history that is the fabric that makes us the people that we are, that we're also proud to be. Secondly, I read the letters of support, and you're obviously somebody who engages with your students, supports your students, cares for them not only inside of the classroom, but outside of the classroom. And that truly is what makes a great teacher. So keep up the good work. Welcome to all of his family, his friends. I see some students, it looks like, that are here, and we're just so very proud of you. Thanks.
Thank you, Kristen. Appreciate you being here, Kristen. This is the first time I've heard about the outcome of elections in Great Falls, because we didn't stay up till 5 this morning to find out. So we were very excited to learn that. Okay, now we present the Montana Television Network representative, a sponsor for all 33 years of this ceremony, and we are happy to have you meet Heath Hagum, who is manager of KRTV in Great Falls, who's going to present our wonderful Eric with a wonderful gift. Would you come forward, please, Heath?
I'm going to do my fake check, too?
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Sorry, this is a two-person job. Well, Eric, I've known Eric since he may not remember me, but I remember him from when he played basketball at Great Falls High.
Wow.
Yeah, he was. That was way back when I was a sports guy talking about history, but left-handed guard, if I remember correctly. So, no, on behalf of the Montana Television Network, which includes stations in all of the major markets in Montana and touches all corners, which is why we want to play such a big part in this, is because we're all over Montana, and this award encompasses all of Montana. We want to congratulate you and present you with this plaque, which says, we want to read it, the 33rd Annual Montana Statehood Centennial Bell Award presented to Eric Chaon, Great Falls High School, Great Falls, Montana, Montana History Teacher of the Year, and list of sponsors: Montana Television Network, Montana History Foundation, Sons and Daughters of Montana Pioneers. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And this check.
There's also this big check.
It's gonna go up in my classroom.
$1,500. Hopefully you got the real one.
Yeah.
All right, awesome.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Here's the cover for your plaque.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh, again, a nice hand for the Montana Television Network and for Eric's prize. That's wonderful. Great. Great. And now we're very happy to announce another important sponsor, and that is the Montana History Foundation. And we have the director of the foundation, Charlene Porcel, to give another gift to Eric. Let's welcome Charlene.
Thank you, Norma. Good morning, Lieutenant Governor Juras, wonderful students, family, co-sponsors. I'm Charlene Porcel. I'm the president and CEO of the Montana History Foundation, and it's my pleasure today to speak on behalf of the History Foundation board and staff. We have a couple of board members. Chuck Johnson's here. I think Mike Dalton's on his way. We have 3 members of our board here in Helena, but we have board members all across the state. So on behalf of that board and myself and my staff, we're delighted to be here. The History Foundation is a nonprofit charity. What we do is we raise private dollars and we make grants all over Montana. So last year we put $220,000 worth of grants into projects in museums in small towns from Ekalaka to Libby. So that is our favorite thing to do and the most exciting work we can do. But we also raise money for special projects. This year we worked with the governor's office to raise nearly $1 million for the Stonewall Hall project in Virginia City, which is Montana's first capital. It's not quite as fancy as this one. In fact, I think lots of you would think it looked like a pile of rubble right now, but it's going to look fabulous, and we're very excited to do that work as well. But we do this work because history is important. Montana history is important, and we support Montana History Teacher of the Year because inspirational teachers like Mr. Chaon are working hard to instill a passion for our history in the next generation. So we thank you, Mr. Chaon, for all that you do every day, which isn't always driving down that canyon in a blizzard to pick up big checks, but for the slogan every day of working with the students and instilling that passion for history and sharing that excitement with the next generation. And so with that, I'm honored to give you also a much smaller check for $1,500 and some more materials for your classroom. And also a bag to carry all of your loot.
Hey, all right.
Because this is what we've learned is there's a lot of loot, so your check's in there.
Perfect. Thank
And
you
then
so
we
much.
have some books on the history of Montana.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yep.
Thank you so much, Charlene, and congratulations again to you, Eric. Now, our third major sponsor is the Sons and Daughters of Montana Pioneers, who, by the way, won the Guardian Award from the Montana Historical Society this year, the major award given by the Montana Historical Society. The president of the Pioneers is Mike Collins, and he has a bundle of gifts to give you, and his wife Connie is going to help make these gifts possible. So would you, Connie and Mike, please come forward. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm honored to be here and to present this award on behalf of the Sons and Daughters of the Montana Pioneers. I'm a sixth generation. My name is Mike Collins, and this is my wife, Connie. I'm a sixth generation Montana. My great-great-great-grandfather came to Virginia City in 1863. So history is very important to me, you know, and to see the enthusiasm that you show with your students and your class, the rest of your students that were unable to make it here today, you know, it warms my heart to see that. So on behalf of the society, we have a small gift. If you come here, this is a check for $1,500, and you will be able to take this one down and cash it today, unlike the other one there, I know. So I'd like to present this to you.
Thank you so much.
And then also we have 2 books. Dreams Across the Divide is the story of the society. And so one is for you, personal. The other one is for your library at the school.
Awesome.
So you have those.
Thank you.
Last year, we started, as part of this process, we started a new thing. There was a young lady, Judy Wolfram from California, recommended that we do something for one of the students. So she chose the student that nominated you for this award from one of your classes to receive. There's 100 Sacagawea dollars in this. And they've all been shined up and they're nice and clean too. So Connie and I did that too. So if you would present this,
I'm
okay?
gonna bring him up here real quick, if that's okay.
Yep, that'll be fine.
This is Dane Gunlock. Dane's brother, Chaon, wrote the letter for me, and so Dane has promised
Okay.
he's gonna take that.
Would
and
you
get it
make
to
sure
his
the
brother.
check gets to your brother, please? Okay, thank you. And then the other students, we have something for the other students, if they would come up here.
Yep. Mason accidentally put on a gray shirt today. And then we have Drayton and Noah who are here too.
Each one of the students that came with Eric today also gets a Sacagawea coin.
Don't forget the guy that's holding the bag.
Did you give one? You give one? He can have one too. Yeah.
Now you got
So-
a third one.
That's, thank you very
Thank
much.
you,
You know,
guys.
you're your students. Also included in this, Eric has a total of 90 students. All of those couldn't be here today. So we are sending 90 Sacagawea dollars back for him to distribute however he chooses, if he wants to make a game out of it. So every one of his students is going to get $1.
Oh, that's
So-
wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow, we sure appreciate you as sponsor to Mike and Connie. Thank you. Well, in just a minute, we're going to ring the Montana Statehood Centennial bell, but now we want to hear from Eric Chaon. And I said, do you have any idea what you're going to say? He said, I think I'll just wing it. So we'll see how well he wings it. I'm sure it's going to be wonderful. Okay. He is our 33rd winner, the History Teacher of the Year, and afterwards we will hear from his nominator, his principal, and the director of the Montana Historical Society. Let's hear it for Eric Chaon.
Well, Norma, I'll start just by thanking you, for all the work that you've put into this award and coordinating and getting everybody together and you doling out thank yous. Just want to take a moment and thank you for all your work, so thank you. Yep. And then I feel like I could just spend the whole time thanking everybody. Everybody who's, provided financially and, just your time and efforts to further Montana history. And then also just to, provide some honor to me that I don't know that I really deserve, but I'm thankful for it. And of course, to the Lieutenant Governor for taking time to be here. I want to thank my school district. I have a great principal, Mr. Jeff Hobble, who's right down here. And we can give him a round of applause. He provides great leadership at Great Falls High School. He mentored me early on when I was first teaching history at Great Falls High. We had rooms right next to each other. I learned a lot about teaching history, how to reach kids, how to care for kids, and just a lot about being a decent person and trying to motivate people. So big thanks to him. I have a few other colleagues here too who we'll hear from shortly. And then I also would like to thank Annie Simpkins. She's not here, but she's the teacher who actually nominated me for this award. And she's busy teaching today at Great Falls High, so thanks to Annie. Also, got to mention my wife, Haley. She holds it all together. Literally, like on the way over here, she held it all together. Rode in the back seat, putting out fires left and right. Diapers, nursing, food, entertainment value, everything. So, great wife and very thankful for Haley. And then my students who were just up here, Mason, Dane, Noah, and Drayton, those guys are easy to teach. There are some that are slightly more challenging, but those guys, fantastic students, and happy that they were able to join us here today. I'm going to read just a quick intro from the letter that I wrote when I applied for this. I think I may be a little better writer than speaker, so I'll read that and then blab a little and be done. So I wrote, "My love of Montana continues to grow as the years pass by. I'm a lifelong resident of the state and spent my college years in Bozeman at Montana State University. There's no place I would rather live, and I echo Montana's preamble description of our state's quiet beauty, grand mountains, and rolling plains. This love of Montana has this love of all that Montana has to offer makes teaching Montana history natural and enjoyable. I've taught Montana history for 8 years, and as I travel, explore, recreate, and study the state of Montana and all it has to offer, I continue to gain increased insights, understanding, and ideas to infuse into lessons. My experience teaching in a rural setting like Augusta and a larger AA district in Great Falls helps me understand the variety of lifestyles and perspectives present in our great state. Montana's rugged, beautiful, desolate, and warm all at the same time, and I try to convey that as best as possible to my students." And then when I think about teaching and why I enjoy teaching at Great Falls High in particular, it does start with the students. The ones I mentioned are great, but I wrote down a couple examples of things that happen to maybe give you a little insight if you're not around high school kids all the time. But yesterday, for example, I think actually in Mason's class, I had a student come in and say, "Mr. Chaon," and I teach on the 3rd floor at Great Falls High. They said, "Mr. Chaon, did you see what some students wrote in the snow outside?" And if you're not in a high school setting, that's not a good thing. Like, I immediately cringed and said, "No." And they said, "You gotta look." And I said, "No, I'm not even gonna look." And they're like, "No, you gotta come look." And so I went and looked, and in about a 30 by 50 foot area in front of the school, somebody shuffled into the snow. "Hi, Mr. Chaon." So you're not sure what you're gonna get each day. There are other daily things that are nice. Mason, who I brought here today, is a great example. Every single day this school year, even on really bad teaching days by me, Mason leaves class and he says, "Thank you, Mr. Chaon. Thank you, Mr. Chaon," every single day. And so that's another thing with students not to take for granted. There's so many good positive things. Last week, the governor came and visited my class on Tuesday. He was in Great Falls, and he stopped in, and he was in the hallway. Mr. Hobble called me out. I said hi, and then I said, "Are you going to come in, or you just want to say hi and get out of here real quick?" Because he had some other things he was doing. And he said, "No, I want to come inside." And I said, "All right, I haven't primed these guys at all. Like, they don't know what's coming." And he goes, "Perfect." And just walks in. And unfortunately, that was my freshman world history class, which is, there's a big difference between freshmen and sophomores. But anyway, he came in and I said, "All right, guys, anybody know who we have here?" And I'm sure you've had maybe an individual stare from a 15-year-old before, but there's something to be said about like a collective blank stare from 30 students. And they just kind of, fortunately, one student raised his hand and said, "Is Greg Gianforte, I think?" And I said, "Oh, yes, that's who it is." And so he did his thing, told a couple good stories and left. And then after everybody was gone, I was like, "Guys, come on. That was the governor of Montana." And I said, "Thank goodness for Rylan." And then a really bright, nice girl said, "Mr. Chaon, we're 15 years old. Like, we should know, but we just don't care. I thought, okay. Like, you can't predict what's going to come. And then my last student story was also yesterday. I walked into my class, that same class actually, and a student, there was a little argument going on, and kid said, Mr. Chaon, you got to settle. Do you like the cold weather? Do you like this cold? And I said, yeah, I kind of like all the seasons, but I don't mind the cold. And I'm not a fan of venomous creatures. And so I was on my way to say that I like that the cold kills or keeps away some of the spiders and snakes and different things that we see in the South and Southwest. So I said, yeah, because you know what the snow kills? And then before I could finish, one of my students said, yeah, Californians. And so, like I said, you don't know what you're going to run into. The students are great, and developing those relationships and teaching kids certainly is at the forefront of why I teach. When I think about teaching Montana history, I referenced the preamble in my intro to my letter, but it is almost my teaching philosophy. So I'm going to read that and then wrap it up. But Montana's preamble reads, "We the people of Montana, grateful to God for the quiet beauty of our state, the grandeur of our mountains, the vastness of our rolling plains, and desiring to improve the quality of life, equality of opportunity, and to secure the blessings of liberty for this and future generations, do ordain and establish this Constitution." I think the vast physical beauty of Montana is part of what I try and teach and convey to students. The idea of quality of life, striving for equality of opportunity, and then teaching kids about individual liberties and rule of law and the importance of all these things, and trying to get them to be motivated and care about those things is what I strive to do. I want to try and create knowledgeable and informed citizens. I think our most recent statistics show that about 20% of U.S. adults can pass a basic citizenship test. And so I think that knowledge and just basic understanding of history is partially important and what I try to do. And then really I just try and get students to care. I try to get them to care about their state, to care about making, in our case, Great Falls a better community and a better place, to be inspired by figures in history, because I think drawing inspiration from those in the past is a big part of studying that, to be reflective, compassionate to people who have experienced difficult history themselves, to be informed, and then, like I said, to be productive citizens. And so that's what I try and do and strive for, and I don't succeed with everybody. That's certainly true, but I do try and pour into those that I can and make a difference and do what I can. So thankful to everybody for all the help and support and putting all this together. And my students were excited about having a day off from my lectures today, so they're kind of giving me the eye down there to stop. So I do appreciate everybody and all the effort that you've all put in. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much, Eric. You've done good. You correct my grammar, too, I know. What a cute smile, too. Doesn't he have a darling smile? Yeah, and he told me that he would make it possible for my husband and me to come to one of your classes. So we will be there. We'll sit there and cheer you on.
You know
Okay.
who the governor is.
Yes, I do. I do. Okay. Well, all right. We're about to ring the Montana Statehood Centennial Bell in honor of the exact minute Montana became the 41st state. It was at 10:40 a.m. on November 8, 1889. This was the time that President Benjamin Harrison signed the proclamation. And because, as I said earlier, because November 8th, the official day, was yesterday, Election Day, the Capitol was closed. So that's why we're having it one day later. All right, so this historic bell came from St. Ignatius, Montana, and was donated by the Brent Bliss family from Power. It was placed here in the Capitol by an act of the legislature and has been rung every year on Statehood Day since 1989. So would the boys come up with Eric and pull out the rope, and we'll have Mike and another tall guy hold on to the frame, because if they pull too hard, the frame will tip over. So if you want to grab your place on the rope, boys, and get ready to hang, and we'll probably do it for 30 seconds, because a minute.
Grab your phone. Sorry, I'm gonna have my nephews jump in. Guys.
And these are some more of Eric's family. Okay.
Made it up from both.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so we're 30 seconds.
Okay, on your mark, get set, and we'll do it for 30 seconds. Go. Great, wonderful.
Good job.
Good job. Eric, we had some late arrivals. Is that part of your family?
Yep, they made it from Bozeman.
They made it from Bozeman.
Yeah.
Thank you, folks, for coming from all the way from Bozeman. Yay. Okay, and now we're going to hear from Jerry Hopkins, the Great Falls High School Associate Librarian, who was the nominator for Eric Chaon as our 33rd Montana History Teacher of the Year. Jerry, want to get by me?
Thanks. Good morning.
Morning.
My name's Hoppy Hopkins, and I met Derek Bean this morning. Oh, it's Eric? Sean? Okay. Thank you for the clarification. I met Eric. I met him at Starbucks this morning, and he said he needed a ride to the Capitol and offered to buy me a cup of coffee if I gave him a ride here. He said he could spare the change. So here we are. In all sincerity, I've worked closely with Eric for about 10 years. I've grown, hesitantly, to respect him as a friend and coworker. The best way to describe Eric is an M&M. He's hard on the outside, but soft on the inside. His bar for excellence is high, yet his bar for compassion for others may be higher. Ask any of his students, his players, his family, or his friends, and they will agree. With supreme pride and admiration, I congratulate my friend and colleague, Eric Chaon, as the 2022 Cascade County, it's the state. This is a big deal. Seriously. The Montana History Teacher of the Year, Eric Chaon.
Oh, that was very nice. Okay, and now we get to hear from Eric's principal, who is Jeff Hobbit. And Jeff, would you come up? He's a great guy, and he has some nice words to say about Eric as well.
Some words.
Thank you for inviting me. And like Eric said, we could spend a lot of time thanking everybody that has contributed to this, because this is a big deal. This is history is important. I was a history teacher at one point too, like Eric mentioned. And what you see with Eric is what you get. What you hear with Eric is what you get. He is a phenomenal teacher, a phenomenal asset to Great Falls High. He obviously has a big following, and it's not just the students that are headed off to college. It's the students that don't know where their food's coming from the next morning that he is able to connect with. I'm very, very proud to call him a friend, to call him a colleague, and I am very proud of him. So I don't have a lot of anything else to say as far as really good things, because we could talk about some other things, but no, he's a great guy. I'm very proud of him. I think if you want to see an interesting show. Let's watch him try to get that big check into his car at the end of this. I don't know how it's getting home, but I want to thank you, Eric, personally for you mentioned the years that we worked together, and you try to, in life, surround yourself with good people. Eric has very sound core values. The core values of Great Falls High are pretty simple. Treat others the way you want to be treated, do what's right, and do the best you can. And Eric holds those true, and he has a great family. Like most of us, his better half is sitting next to him, and he is a solid human being. So I appreciate you, and congratulations.
Thank you so much, Jeff, for making this trip happen for Eric, because I know you were behind it all the way. Okay, now we have somebody very special for you to hear from, and that's Molly Krukenberg, who is director of the Montana Historical Society, and she'd like to emphasize the important part this program has in preparing our next generation in preserving and appreciating the history of our treasure state. Let's welcome Molly Krukenberg.
Thank you all for the opportunity to be with you today. On behalf of the dedicated staff and the Board of Trustees of the Montana Historical Society, I'd like to welcome you to this beautiful building, our state capitol. It's a great way to celebrate the anniversary of Montana becoming the 41st state. I'd also like to offer a final thank you to the sponsors of this award, the Montana Television Network, the Montana History Foundation, the Sons and Daughters of Montana Pioneers, and the 1889 Coffee House, all of whom are friends and partners of the Montana Historical Society. We appreciate your ongoing support for this award and for Montana history. And I'd also like to thank Norma Ashby Smith for her role as the champion of this award for more than 3 decades. Congratulations, Eric, as social studies history teacher at the Great Falls High School, and for this important and well-deserved honor. Eric is not only an inspiring teacher, but also an inspiring leader among history educators in Montana. With his technique of using primary source documents in the classroom, Eric brings Montana history to life for his students. Like all of you here today, the Montana Historical Society is about education. Learning the lessons of the past, the successes and failures, the trials and tribulations, is vital to the future achievement of today's students. The role that we share in making our history accessible, like Eric does every day, has a significant impact on our future. The Montana Historical Society works with teachers across our great state, and we hold those in the teaching profession in extraordinary high regard. The study of history and the humanities helps us shape the future and prepare the next generation to be creative and innovative problem solvers and decision makers. The critical thinking skills developed through the study of the humanities and the arts makes our educational efforts more effective. By learning about our shared past, students gain a better understanding of why our communities, our state, and our nation are what they are today. So after you explore the Capitol building today, Eric, which I hope you do, I'd like to invite you and your students to stop across the street at the Montana Historical Society. I'd also like to present you with a copy of Montana Stories of the Land, our history textbook, which I understand you use already, and we're so grateful. And I'm sure you can always use an extra copy.
Yep.
As well as a copy of Montana History in 101 Objects, our award-winning Montana history publication. So congratulations, Eric. And congratulations really to all of the students in Great Falls High School who were lucky enough to have you as their teacher. We're also thankful for all teachers like you. So thank you for your service, your passion, and your commitment to our future.
Thanks.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Molly, for those great words. And I think we have another really wonderful representative from the Historical Society here, and she is Martha Cole, who is the liaison with all the Montana history teachers across the state. And she wrote the book that the 4th graders are now ready. Do you want to mention that book? Martha Cole. Sure. Okay.
I wasn't expecting to speak, but I just want to say congratulations. We really value dedicated classroom teachers like yourself.
And what's the name of your new book?
The new book is Montana, A History of Our Home, and that's our 4th grade textbook. And then Montana Stories of the Land is our upper division textbook, and hopefully it is of use to you.
Yes, okay, thank you, Martha. Yeah. We also thank the media for being here today. PBS is here, and the MTN representative is here. Which station?
KTVH.
KTVH. So I bet that there will be some coverage of this on the evening news tonight at 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock. So if you want to see the evening news coverage of this ceremony, be sure to tune in tonight at 5. So we're ready to have our closing now. I want to close thanks to all of our speakers, our sponsors, and one more sponsor we want to acknowledge is Brett Winch of the 1889 Coffee House, who is providing lunch for our winners delegation today. So be sure to go down and see them on 11th Avenue after your tour. And you're going to be having a tour of the Capitol by Brad Murphy. And is Brad here? There he is, down at the end. It's so funny, Montana is one long street with no stoplights. And when talking to Brad, I learned that he has some brothers that I knew in high school. So there you go. And we have a couple other people I just want to mention. We're very honored to have here today Steve Zim, who is one of our judges for this contest. And Steve, do you want to stand up? I want to tell everybody about Steve. He is a retired lieutenant colonel in the Air Force. And among his chores was he was an eye doctor for the Thunderbirds, which is kind of exciting. And he worked with Eric, I think, on a committee to study social studies and how that they might be improved in the teaching of our kids. So, Steve, thank you for driving over on this day, which took a lot of strength and courage to do that. And I'd also like to acknowledge one other special person, like Eric acknowledged his family. Well, my family's here too, and that's my dear husband Dwight, who turned out to be the usher today, getting sure everybody found their seats. And he is the retired Air Force lieutenant colonel in the Air Force. So let's give Steve and my husband a nice hand. So again, our congratulations to Eric and the support of his family who accompanied him here today. And Eric will speak briefly to the media, and then he and his delegation will have a tour of the Capitol with Brad Murphy, and then they'll go to the 1889 Coffee House for some lunch. So you are a wonderful audience. Thank you for being here, and again, congratulations to Eric. Thank you, everybody, for being here today.